Click.
Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the EgoQueen, and today we're on episode
18
of Adeptus Podcastus.
Jesus Christ.
I am professional. I was told that today by Carl, and now I'm happy.
In fairness, Carl was drunk.
Yes,
And said quote
I will
unquote.
take the compliment. Today I'm joined by Remleiz,
Hello, everyone.
Michael,
Hello.
and Zoran.
Hi, how you doing?
Good start.
Yeah, we got Zoran's sexy voice in here. I'm all happy about
Can you
this.
just Photoshop me in the image you guys use? Just put a random fucking bear somewhere. Just
It can be done. I love how we were talking on Monday. Like the chat was asking, like, you're going to get Zoran on anytime? So it was like, we'll see what we can do. And then he's on the next one.
Well, yeah,
Is it-
yeah, just give me the image and I'll Photoshop myself in there.
I will.
Sure thing.
Also, is there any chance of Zoran saying Alexis' intro?
Oh, fuck that. We're not going there again, are we?
Zoran, can you say my intro?
Like- Wait. The fuck have you two been... What?
Alexis has been trying to get me to say her intro for about 6 weeks, and I absolutely refuse.
What is it? The,
It's the one she just did, the high pitched, not the high pitched one, the whole like slightly braggy old one she has.
Which one, Michael?
like, hi, I'm EgoQueenAlexis, love me thing?
That one,
Yeah.
yeah, that one.
Okay, I said it.
No, you
There you go,
didn't.
moving
That
on.
doesn't count.
Yes, I did. Yes, it does.
No,
We've got a lot to get
Do
through.
it properly.
Hi, I'm here, EgoQueenAlexis. Love me.
Yay.
Today we're going to talk about Warhammers. Today I just got myself some Death Guard, mother, and I got tyranids scattered along the walls.
Jesus Christ!
I think we broke Michael.
Look at my hair today. It's wonderful. And none of you can have this.
Oh, shit.
I so did
I
not.
love you.
I did not see that coming at all. That's fucking.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Oh, sound bites.
Sorry, I had a text message. I forgot to put something on silent, sorry.
It's fine. Okay, right. Professional.
No, now we start with that.
Oh no, that was me calming
Now
myself.
we're going to be professional.
I was calming myself, no one else.
I think Zoran is probably the most professional out of all three of us. All
But
four
but
of us.
today, but I know today a whole bunch of 8th edition stuff came out, and I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, there's been an article every day. The one today, actually, because we're actually recording this a day later than usual. So the date today, as we're recording, is the 13th of May. So everything that's happened between this and when you're watching this, we don't know about. We can't talk about it. So today we've had a lore article, which is one I'm going to talk about probably at a little bit of length because it's Tau. But we've had information on points values, how data sheets work, how weapons work, how infantry works, characters, large models, Battleforged diamonds and detachments, morale, and all the other phases of the game. There's been a lot of stuff in the last couple of weeks, as well as some other stuff like, the return of Sly Marbo.
And Chaos Tau.
We'll get to that.
It's Chaos Space Marine Tau. Get it right?
God damn it.
What? We're not the dumbasses that decided that Space Marine Tau need to be a thing.
Who decided that?
I
I
don't want
didn't.
to talk about it.
It was you, wasn't it,
Alexis.
Alexis?
No, I would not talk about the Tau, except for
It was
talking
Tracer,
about
wasn't
crushing
it?
them. It's probably fucking Tracer.
Right. So yeah, I think most people have seen like the phase stuff by now. So like shooting, charge phase, fight phase, morale. Like that's been out for the best part of at least 10 days now. So I think I'll skip over. No, I'll talk about the Great Rift, which is, I'm sure the people who saw the new Galaxy map are all aware. There's a big fucking crack in the universe right now.
The Cicatrix Maledictum, or Gork's Grin, if you're an orc.
Yo, it is Orcs Grin.
the Mouth of Ruin, the Warp Scar, the Crimson Path, the Dathodian. It's got a lot of names, actually.
Yeah, but Gorksgrin sounds awesome.
It does.
Okay, we'll go with that. So, the big fucking warp tear basically runs from the Eye of Terror all the way across the galaxy, right down to the southeast. There's actually, as far as this image I can see, I haven't got the full map in front of me, but this image suggests there's actually no way around it, but we know there is. There's a little way around both the back of the eye in, I forget the name of the sector right now, and you can go, I think, like, round the back to Ultramar.
I have a question.
Yep.
Since it's the entire universe, right? Like, obviously it splits it, but how tall is it?
It's not like a physical wall. It's more like it's like basically it's like a wall.
What I'm meaning is that in space, it's obviously 3-dimensional and everything, and obviously I would imagine you just fly over the rift.
I think that yes, maybe, but I don't know how easy it is to leave like the galactic plane and how tall it is. Plus, the warp is the warp. So if you remember back to the Heresy when Erebus cast the Ruin Storm, it's basically that just cranked up to 1 million across the entire central galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ruin Storm shut the Imperium down. It blocked off the entirety of the Eastern Galaxy. So, or at least it blocked off Ultramar, if nothing else.
Remleiz, I did actually find sources stating that tyranids can fly through warp storms.
Oh, really? Whereabouts?
The old 3rd edition Tyranid fluff, the Soul Drinker's first novel, and the Dark Angel's Space Hulk novel.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
There we go.
Tyranids can actually fly straight through them, and they contradict each other a little bit. One states that the Tyranids simply fly through it and the warp doesn't affect them. The other one said the Tyranids were mutated beyond all belief.
Both of those are plausible. And the Hive Fleet probably, if there is too much mutation, will just adapt to it and it will become the former case. So yeah, the reason I just want to point this out is because the way it's drawn, basically the bottom right corner, as you look at it, the bit that like curves round, that basically encircles Ultramar, and I think the Tau Empire, I think, is on the Terran side. I think, if I remember the map right, the Tau are on the Terran side, but only just.
Poor Tau.
There may be some contradictions to that, actually, based on the article about Damocles, which we'll get to later. So, moving on. Detachments have completely changed, so formations are gone. Fucking yes.
Hooray!
And you've now got a different sort of detachment size that let you build different sizes of armies. If you want all the details, me and Alexis talked about it on her stream, which will be up on her channel. Basically, you get command points now for following a certain Force Org. Flyers are now their own Force Org slot. And we don't really know what command points do yet. We're still waiting for information, so don't ask.
They can ask. It's just by the next podcast we'll have more information about it.
Yeah,
I'm just going to assume that command points are something similar to the old strategy cards. You spend enough command points to do something.
I feel like
bonuses and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like some of them are to do with like you use them as rerolls or maybe like interrupts in the You Go I Go combat system. I'm not fully sure though.
But we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, there was an FAQ and errata for Shadow War Armageddon, which followed that. And then we got
Shadow War. I must have missed
it came out on the 5th. If you want to go back through WHC, we had information on Warzone Cadia. Yes, Cadia is not dead.
Somehow.
Well,
yeah.
Isn't the planet itself obliterated, but the Cadian system is okay?
No. It says there are whispers in Imperial Sector Command of the possibility of retaliatory strikes, claiming back some territory, and even of reclaiming the ruins of Cadia itself, implying Cadia stands.
Oh, you know what's happened?
Cadia.
No, you know what's happened? What happened is they blew up Cadia, and Creed actually had another Cadia inside Cadia.
Probably.
Hey.
Well, I mean,
tactical genius.
He kind of, didn't the giant spaceship crash into it at the end of the Gathering Storm books, if I can remember that correctly?
Don't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, but some cataclysmic event happened to Cadia where it detonated like the entire surface. It was exterminatus, but it doesn't mean that
blew up.
It doesn't mean that it's gone.
It does mean if the planet got blown up, it got blown up, unless it somehow reconstituted itself back together. Maybe like Trazyn went, I'm going to fix this because you guys are all right.
Well, I can see trusting the gay best friend doing that, but if the planet was just surface bombed exterminatus, because there's multiple different types of exterminatuses that happen, if they just burned the atmosphere and destroyed all the buildings and everything on the surface, just a surface cleansing, the planet still stands. But if they actually shot into the core of the planet and detonated it, then the planet is gone. By the way, the Imperium can do that in under 7 minutes. That's a thing. I have sources.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so it looks like Warzone Cadia is going to be a expansion, a sort of plot thing. There's going to be scattered chaos warbands. It looks like this is going to be the beginning of what some are terming what Alexis particularly is terming the Great Crusade 2.0. But this won't be Gilliman-led. This will be Guard-led by the looks of it. So this, if it comes as a campaign book, will be Chaos and Guard.
What if it's another Shadow War expansion?
It says it's Warzone Cadia rather than anything else. And we do get a talk about Warzone Armageddon, which sounds a lot bigger. I think I'm going to either get onto that or it came up earlier.
In fairness, the Guardmen need a little bit more love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Warzone Armageddon isn't here, but there's also looking to be a thing of Chaos versus Orks versus Imperials on Armageddon and deciding that once and for all, because Gork's Grin has spat out a Khorne Crusade right in Armageddon's path. Khorne Demon Crusade, to be precise. Large models. What have we got here? There's no such thing as super heavies and no such thing as gargantuans. They're gone. And they also ran through a Morkanaut stat line, I should say, which is strength 8, toughness 8, 18 wounds and a 3-up save, an 8-inch move, 4 attacks, hits on 3s, and then shooting hits on 5s. And then it gets worse as it gets damaged, which is standard AOS stuff, which is good. So weapons, yeah, that's fine. And then infantry, everything wounds everything now. So like the strength v toughness table has completely changed. So the only way you wound on 2s these days is to have double strength, and yeah, that's a thing.
Well, there
I'm starting to think a lot of people would try to, stack a lot of high strength stuff. Like instead of getting belters, do whatever you can to just bring plasmas and meltas and flamers. Now that since there's no templates anymore, it's like either get as many hits as you can and opportunities in, or just get something that will guarantee hurt something and just risk the hit chance. Because
they also covered blast weapons a little. I'll get on to blast weapons. But I think plasma's actually had quite a significant nerf here. Because plasma at strength 7 no longer wounds Marines on 2s. So I think plasma just took a pretty big hit. We get to see things like grav work.
Well, plasma also deals D3 wounds, does it not?
Meltas deals D6 from memory.
Ooh, I am being incredibly insulting. Someone's calling me. Keep going.
Okay.
It's Carl, isn't it?
So yes, carrying on whilst he takes his call. It looks as though like basic infantry have a really nice purpose in that they can kill everything, but you can also tech up your squads to do stuff. Bear in mind though, you don't want to have glass cannon squads anymore because, well, everything is flimsier in this edition. Straight up.
Well, I disagree with that. After all the everything that I've been seeing, I've been building a Glasshammer army just for this edition.
I can see, but I think the reason I say that it's going to be a flimsy edition is that if you take what was AP a 4+ save unit, a 4+ save unit is a really good example. A 4+ save unit.
So Terminators.
4+ save units, Alexis. They don't have a 4+ invulnerable save unless they're Tzeentch.
Or Tartarus.
Cataphracti,
that's it. I get my Terminators mixed up.
But if you look at a 4+ armor save unit, like let's say Space Marines, Scouts, or most basic infantry that isn't human, you will notice that against the old weapons that used to not affect their armor, they're still unaffected. And against AP4 weapons, they've got better saves. Yes, actually, yeah. The mid-save units have actually benefited from this, but the really high-save units like Marines and Terminators, I think, do lose out because the amount of stuff that's going to be Rend 1 or AP1, I should say, is going to actually have an effect on their save. It doubles the chance of a Terminator taking a wound. Now, yes, they've got the extra wound, but I think generally units will die faster in this edition, but I would have to go away and do the calculations to prove that.
Also,
sorry, I just got back.
Hello.
Yes, sorry. We'll get onto the lore thing soon. I promise.
But with all the new changes and everything, I gotta say, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think the game is going to be mad quick. I've gone through a theoretical turn 1 in the game just using 2 identical units fighting each other. The turn went by, in less than 5 minutes.
Well, in their article about points, they reckon a 2,000-point game will be about 2 hours. Obviously, that's GW math, and GW math is never quite the same as real-life math, but it's worth considering.
Also, I'll ask this while we have Zoran here. What do you think about all the changes that are happening so quickly as you've just got into the game?
For someone who played 7th edition and tried to learn all of it, everyone's been everyone's been positive for the most part. I haven't really met anybody. It's funny because there's people go oh, shut up, you don't like change and all that fun stuff, so you shouldn't say this. Funny enough, I haven't met a single person yet who's been overly negative about it.
I can agree with that. I mean,
that's one thing I've noticed. Along with all the rules and everything, there hasn't really been anything that struck out to me as something major, but besides some stuff with Melee that has been holy crap, I don't like this. This isn't a good idea. Everyone's generally been you know what, this is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean, go on, finish your point.
Nah, you're good. And one thing that has always been worrying me is that there's been a lot of stuff in 7th edition to where I would like to do, I would primarily like to have a more vehicle-focused army, but since 7th edition is so punishes vehicles so much, to where it's why would I get a vehicle when I can just get a Devastator squad and be 5 times more effective?
You should have played Sect, that was even worse.
Yeah, have more survivability, more firepower, and more maneuverability, And at the same time, why a lot of people never took heavy bolters that I noticed is because when you move, it's well, good luck hitting on 6s, but now it's now you just take -1. You have a far better chance to hit, so you won't have to lock down your entire, squad or whatever that has that Devastator, or for long things or whatever. What I do with my long things for my Space Wolves, that I just put them on top of a tower if there is one, or somewhere where I can snipe, and I don't move them at all.
Yeah, I do the same with my Pathfinders because their marker lights are heavy.
Yeah, and it's with these new rules and everything, it seems maneuverability is a lot more prevalent for this now, which will kind of make things a lot more interesting to where I can actually go, okay, my long things no longer be effective here. I'm going to now start moving them. So hopefully on turn 3, they can start shooting something. Or 3 or 4, rather. They would have to do something in the first turns, but yeah, overall, it's been positive. I'm excited for it. Not to mention a lot of friends that I used to play the game with. It's kind of have a negative effect if no one wants to play anymore or buy anything until it comes out. I have an entire, I even bought little organizers for all my little bits for my Space Marine Dwarf army that I was making. And now I don't want to build anything, so I don't know what's going to be viable or not. Because I like the concept of giving everybody heavy bolters and bolt guns. And I really wanted to make my dwarves like a light. How can I forgot what the thing is, light mechanic army in a way. I forget the terminology, to where it's just light tanks and everything supporting them. Rather than on bikes, bikes and rhinos, or just rhinos with one predator.
Yeah,
a type of ability.
One good thing that's changed actually that allow you to do that is they've changed the way transports work. So now you get as many transports as you get other units. It's not like transports are locked to units anymore. So if you took, let's say, a Swiftclaw bikers, grey hunters, the long fangs. In the past, you could only take a rhino for the long fangs and the grey hunters. Yeah. But now it's one per unit, as far as I can tell anyway. So it looks like you'll be able to fully mechanize an army a lot more easily. Yeah, that's the term, mechanized infantry, really, to where I wanted like my 5 to 10 man, squad of, tactical dwarves to, always be supported by it. I don't know what they did for like how they're going to deploy and all that stuff to see if it's like if you're able to charge after it, because that's one thing with Space Wolves that always confused me, to where I could have them in a drop pod, I can land, and then I believe I could fire, but I can't charge. That's correct. And I'm sitting here going like, well, my Space Wolves are super effective. Like, say if I dropped a whole bunch of Blood Claws, they're super effective when they charge. They're highly less effective when they don't. And with this game and how melee is, it's basically, it looks like it's a game of who charges first. In 7th edition with the Yugo-Igo system and charges overrule, getting a charge off will be important. Yeah, like if I am charged, what is making me able to survive is my concern as of right now in 8th edition. I think I use this, well, AOS uses this system, and I've played a fair bit of it, and I actually don't like it that much because it puts too much impetus on, I only want one unit in combat at a time. So let's say you've thrown in your Blood Claws and your Wolf Guard and your characters, because characters don't join units anymore, that's not a thing anymore. You throw them all in, they get their charge bonuses, but in the next round of combat, 2 of them, or one of them is going to be attacked before you get a chance to swing with it. And I found in Age of Sigmar, particularly as an army that's not combat proficient, or that it's against an army that is better than me in combat, like a Khorne army, I found that like I had to make extremely hard choices on what units I was willing to sacrifice. And that's the other argument for why I think things will die faster, is because you're basically going to have to sacrifice units and basically almost board control in an area of the board in order to win a certain combat. And you can't multi-assault as effectively for the same reasons. Now, I'm all for changing the way I like the initiative system, but I admit it had some problems. I've had issues with that system. But the characters will also provide a lot of bonuses. So, for example, as an example here of Drazhar, the Dark Eldar Incubi character, he gives all Incubi within 6 inches +1 to hit in melee, whether they're charged or not. So you might want to spend a turn maneuvering it so that he's behind your line so that they can get hit, but hit better. There's there's a lot of nuance in it, but I'm not a huge fan about it. I think that's my biggest gripe is the Yugo-Igo system, honestly. Yeah, unfortunately, it's funny. To be honest. Fair enough. I think it's also a case of, I might say I don't like it now, pretty much in thought and paper, but I still haven't been able to play it yet. But once I give it a few rounds, one day I'll probably start spouting out my opinions on it in some internet fashion to kind of go, all right, this is actually good, or holy crap, this is terrible. Yeah. But I really hope they also implement a system to where, like, say if something like that mechanic or others that we all thought was wonderful but actually sucks, I would have to question how they might be able to patch things like that. Because obviously with games you're able to, but I know they also had a system for their guns and some point values to where it's like, they said that, hell, here's there's a whole different sheet, so if we ever do need to change something, we could just have a thing out that we just edit it. Well, the thing they promised, and they've adopted the General's Handbook system, so basically they've got a rolling rule book, for want of a better phrase. So they're going to basically have it rolling every year, and every year they're going to perform basically a balance pass. From what I can infer, they're going to do a balance pass on the game. So if something is obscenely broken, it will be broken for no more than 12 months. Probably. And for someone like me who doesn't know jack about like the General's Handbook, because I haven't played Age of Sigmar, I've been wanting to. I even have like a little dwarf army now, so I can play it whenever I can. Adorable. But I love my dwarves, man. That's why I want dwarves in 40K. I was so sad when I was told squats didn't exist. But for me, like, it's General's Handbook, like for someone who has no idea of anything. Is it like just a PDF of just every army and every role and just a big book thing? No. Basically, if it works the same way AOS does, you will get the rule book, The rulebook will be about 15 pages long, no more. And the General's Handbook will contain the rules for open, narrative, and matched play. That's do what you want, play to a scenario or custom campaign, or play competitively. In terms of what will be in the handbook, all you'll find is balancing things for games, like balancing mechanics, and points values. Points values will be, I believe, listed in the handbook if it's like AOS. If not, they'll be in each particular codex, but I think they're going to stay in the handbook. So that means that if a unit is too powerful, the fastest thing they can do to nerf it is to give it a price hike, I think. There's obviously a lot still up in the air of how it's all going to function, but I know that would probably be, if they follow the same system, how they'll do it.
I still like the idea of having like a PDF thing that they can edit on the fly.
I think they'll probably have like an errata every year and an FAQ every year. But it's because people I personally prefer having the paper in my hand. It's not as easy to. The e-copies will auto update, yes, but the paper copies won't.
Yeah, it's also one discussion I've had with Nalphabusa and everything, to where it's like I love having a physical book, and I have one of those Surface Pros, like I have like the Pro 4 and all that. I have one of those. I love that thing. That thing's amazing, but even with I have PDFs on it and it's going super quick and all that, I still find it way more efficient to physically flip through a book.
Agreed.
So I can put paper markers and all that. And I just like books. I want hardcover books. I love the artwork that comes with them. I love everything about it. But it's very convenient for me to have like that little Pro tablet thing and just kind of have it like propped over with the stats and just kind of flick my finger here and there and
because
go ahead, bud.
AOS has an app. As far as I know, it's a free app. You can't buy the codices. You can't get the codices, but if you just want the raw data sheets, or they're called war scrolls in AOS, you can get all the units' rules on there, and they do update. So when they updated like Khorne or they updated Lizardmen, they did free update the app. So like the app would probably be, if there is one for 40k, I don't know if there is. Don't quote me on that. They might do it that way as well, so people have always got access, like even on their phones, to the rules updates as they go.
Speaking of that, I think go ahead, Alexis.
In their live stream, they did mention something about it.
I didn't see that. Okay, fair enough.
Like, it would be nice to have a dedicated app to where, for one, you can like purchase books on the app. Like, say if you want like the Mount Space Wolf Codex or whatever, for all their rules and everything that you need. It'd be nice to have that app pretty much be like a hub for all the stuff you need.
That's what it is.
Yeah, like that's what I want, really, because I want all the. I'm sorry if I'm.
No, it's fine.
I want. Shut up! I'm talking now.
Shut.
There's a silence as I spurge a bit my space blues. Basically, I want the book to be able to give me everything I want. I don't know how it is for Age of Sigmar, which probably would help me in this discussion, but I want all the stuff I want there.
Well, basically, in the app, you can get all the rules and all the stat lines for units, for every unit in the game, for free. If you want access to the faction rules, so like the unique traits of an army, not the rules for that army, just like its bonuses, like its relics and its maybe unique traits and unique warlord traits, then you have to buy the e-copy of that book onto the app. If you want to buy a campaign book so you can unlock new missions to play that are in the General's Handbook, you don't want to go out and get the handbook, you buy them in-app. So you can basically have an entire hub out of the app. But if you just want to play the game basic, you can do it for free. If you want to play more complex games, so you want matched play, you want warlord traits and relics and unique psychic powers, you will need to go and buy them in-app. But I think they are cheaper than buying them on paper. So it will work as a hub if you want it to.
Yeah, hopefully they're around like, I don't know, $10, $15 at most.
I think it's more like £15 for about.
It's pushing it for me, but it's a lot better than, hey, here's $70 for a hardcover book.
Yeah,
and my soul died. And you flip through, it's like I'm only going to use like 2 pages of this.
Yeah,
Imperial agents.
So right. Skipping forward.
Wait to read the 5 pages about sisters. Oh, that's all I wanted.
Yeah. I think we should probably just quickly get through the rest of the discussion, and we can keep talking. Twin link weapons now fire double shots. They don't re-roll to hit. So, oh dear God, twin link assault cannons are firing 8 shots a go.
You can't also guard.
And Razorbacks just took a huge upgrade. I'm interested to see how many shots the Crusader gets.
Oh my God, the Hurricane Bolters.
I have those. I have Crusader patterns.
It's 3 twin-linked weapons.
Alexis. Spartans.
Yay!
How many have they got? Like 4 las cannons? 8?
Well, in all fairness, Spartans are not allowed in the 40k.
Yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just yike. Combi weapons, you can now fire both types of weapons at once, but with a -1 to hit modifier. And you can fire those and they don't run out.
So
melter guns.
Bolt guns just got amazing.
Combi melters.
What do you mean don't run out?
As in, you may not know this, but combi weapons are basically generally bolters with an underslung weapon, like a plasma gun or a melter gun.
Yeah,
but they're one use only. So that secondary weapon is one use only. But in the new edition, it's not one use only.
Now,
that's
I really
awesome.
want to talk about the comedy of this. I'm just imagining Greyfax looking at Magnus, shooting him with a Condemner bolt gun. Magnus has a slight aneurysm, falls over, gets back up. Would you stop that? Gets shot again. Ah! Cut it out! Shot again.
Yeah. And then to finish, basically, last templates are dead as well as flamers. So basically now
Everything is an Exorcist battle tank.
So a battle cannon is now... So this is the Lehman Russ gun, is D6 shots. Strength 8, 2 Ren, damage D3.
It's D6
Where are you getting these stats?
Sorry, say again, Zoran?
Where are you getting these stats?
WarhammerCommunity.com. GW's basically
Did
website.
they release all the stuff now?
So go on there, and basically they release an article every day. You can just go into the Warhammer 40,000 section, scroll down, and you'll find them all. That's what I'm using.
Okay. I didn't know they released the all the stats yet or not.
Well, not all of them. They're just that's an example that they released.
Okay.
So
yes?
D6 shots?
Yeah, D6 single shots.
Ah, God, the orc kill cannons are gonna suck.
Wait, I'm dumb and stupid. So D6 shots would be like I roll 6 dice, or
no, you roll 1 dice, and that's how many shots you get. 6 D6 is you roll 6 dice.
Okay, so I'm stupid. I'm like, how does this work? Do I roll 6 and then say, okay, that's a 2, so that's 1 shot, and here's another one that's 6, so that's 3 shots. So add that, or is it? Yeah, I'm stupid.
It's fine. Right, now this is something I do need to talk about. They've introduced 2 separate army balancing systems. One is points, and the other is power rating. So basically, power levels are the quick balance system. So you can quickly build a unit, then you can upgrade it however you want, and that costs no power, but it allows you if you've got a unit, you need to throw it down on the table. This is what it costs. So if you need to play a game quickly, it's I want to play 50 power, bang, 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 done. Super fast.
I wonder if Remleiz fell asleep.
Sorry.
I'm still there.
You're going to actually have to listen to this, because this could become relevant for you soon, since you're getting an entire fucking army.
Yes.
So power levels are your rough approximation, so you can play quickly, and it also dictates roles in certain scenarios. Points are still the same, and they are still very finicky. So a tactical marine is now 13 points a guy, which is a slight points drop, but they're roughly similar cost per squad to what they are today. And they also go on record to say that summoning now comes out of your points tally. So if you don't have to dictate what units you're summoning, but if you
in the article, does it mention summoning mostly for competitive or narrative, or is it all around?
This is about matched play points, so this is for competitive. So if you're summoning in competitive, then you need to leave aside so many points to summon. So you know how you leave, let's say if I've got a unit in reserve and it costs 150 points, I've deployed 1350 points out of my 1500 point army, and 150 points is in reserve, and I know what it is.
Yeah.
under the summoning rules now, I can say I'm deploying 1,350 points and I'm leaving 150 points to summon. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I can decide at the time, but I've got 150 points that I am allowed to summon. And when I've summoned it, that's it. Those points are gone.
I assume that would be something for like, I think Magnus can spawn. They can make little spawns, right?
I don't know about I don't know about spawn effects, but
because that's what I assumed that was for. Like, I understand there would be like reserves, but since it said specifically summon, I would assume that's what that is for. Of okay, I know in this build I want Magnus to do all of these guys, but instead of I don't know in 7th edition if you can just keep going.
Yes, you can infinite summon.
Yeah, I think this is a way.
Magnus.
Yeah, I think this is a way to cap that. Because that I understand that would be highly annoying if you could just chain them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's basically a cap onto the amount, and it's not only a cap on what you're allowed to bring in. It also takes away from your main army to do it. So you're saying I could leave 1,000 points in my summoning pool and only deploy 500 points and just pray that I don't die. In the same way that in my Tau army, I leave 1,000 points in reserve and say, right, these 500 points are going to stay alive until my reserves arrive. They're basically just summoning now works exactly the same way as reserves, but you don't pick the unit in advance. I think
really,
that's
kind of interesting. Like I'd have to wait to see because I'm trying. I find it a bit skeptical that that's how that's going to work because you could power game the hell out of that. To where someone could bring something, then all of a sudden you see, okay, that's a major threat. Instead of this Land Raider, I'm going to bring these guys now.
Yes, but generally the only things that you can generally summon are demons. So,
okay, because the way you kept saying it is of reserves and stuff was kind of mixed in there.
Summoning works like reserves, but in reserves, which is generally how you know it, you have to pick units in advance. In summoning, you have a pool of points, but there's only certain units you're allowed to. So like I might say, I was allowed to summon a unit of lesser demons.
Okay, no, I'm just an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. That's a very fair call.
Because I didn't know if you were mixing them both in together or
they were still but they aren't.
Did you just say that's a very fair cock?
Cop, Alexis. Clean your brain.
Okay, I heard something completely different, and I'm going to giggle about it.
Yeah, and now Remleiz can wake up because we're going to talk lore.
Hooray!
Sorry. Okay, so this is Alexis. You can leave now because we're going to talk about Tau for 5 minutes.
I hate the Tau.
Okay, so basically, this is how Warzone Damocles ended. The Raven Guard chapter master died, Aunvar died, and the Imperium cleansed the entire fucking region in a firestorm. Literally, they basically exterminated the entire Damocles Gulf. That's what they tried to do. And then Gork's Grin put the fire out, basically, for want of a better word. And the town launched the 4th sphere expansion into the Gulf. But they got caught in the rift and have completely gone off the grid. Contact lost. So we don't know where they are. They could actually be in the warp. This is where the whole Chaos Tau thing from earlier came from. It may well be that they've just set up Chaos Tau from the lost 4th sphere. Maybe.
Now, let's say this really quickly. Chaos Tau doesn't mean like Tau are going to emerge looking exactly the same or being psychic. It could just be that they all turned into warp spawn or were completely annihilated.
There's a lot of up in the air about what's going to... Like, the 4th sphere could turn into the 13th Company of the Space Wolves, where they just don't show up for an ass load of time, and then suddenly...
So instead of turning into werewolves, they're going to turn into giant fishes.
That would be fucking awesome. No, but I think it's more like a Forge Your Narrative moment, where it's like the Lost Primarchs.
Yeah, the 13th Company was a bad analogy. I should have said the Lost Primarchs. But in response to all of that... Now there is a 5th sphere expansion, which is taking it much more carefully and is now going back to claim more territory. It doesn't say it's going into the Gulf because, well, look what happened to the lost one. But basically, Warzone Damocles is back on. So we don't know if that's going to be just Tau or Imperium or whether Chaos is going to get involved or whether this 4th sphere is going to get involved. But that's the situation now in that region.
Can we talk
funny.
About, the
sorry.
Oh, sorry, Zoran.
No, I was saying something offhand that funny that the first box set, the first ever models I ever got was from that. The whole Damocles thing. Yeah, like the Eternal Crusade, because this was the first time I was getting to Warhammer, and the Eternal Crusade dads were like, "Hey, what box set do you want? Do you have Space Wolves?" "No, we ran out." I'm like, "Well, send me something." And then they sent me that. And it's the first model I put together. It was that land speeder, and it was fucking warped. It couldn't fit.
Oof. Ouch.
So I have a shitty land speeder, which I'm probably going to convert with little wheels on it. But yeah, but go ahead, Alexis. I'm sorry.
Did you guys find it weird that in the picture of the assassination of the ethereal,
Yeah,
that
I'm looking at it now.
Instead of using like a Calidus, they used an Evosaur?
No, they used a Calexis.
The artwork is that is a Calexis. That is the Calexis. Which is why the Tower all clutching their heads.
My bad.
Yeah. I find it interesting that the completely non-psychic Tau, apart from Aunvar, are all clutching their heads, screaming like, "What the?" That's a really nice touch. There's something weird going on.
But don't forget as well, Calexis are blanks, and what do blanks do? They cause excuse me. They cause intense feelings of unease and distress amongst anyone else nearby. And
why is it not affecting? Why is it not affecting Aunvar and his honor guard then? Why is it only affecting the Fire Warriors?
Well, it's not affecting Aunvar because he's under the control of a Tau brainworm. Yes. The brainworms are controlling the Tau, don't forget.
We're still going with that, are we?
We're still going with the brainworms. Why else have we got a race of parasitic worms that infest people's brains on the Tau alliance species list? It's literally just like the fucking gold from Stargate.
That means nothing to me.
Is that why all the Tau have entry points?
Yes.
Sure. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting discussion. So we've got potentially 3 campaigns coming in a lore sense, which is going to be Cadia, Armageddon, and Damocles. Plus, we have the Great Crusade Mark II, or whatever they're going to... Sorry, what's it called? The Indomitus Crusade? No, is it the Indomitus Crusade they're calling it?
Indomitus Crusade, yeah.
That's the one.
Phenomena.
Yeah, with the not Thunder Warriors, or whatever they are.
Some people are convinced this. Some people seem to think they're squats.
Unlikely.
But they're bigger.
So they're not squats.
We are the giant squats.
We are pygmy giants.
Now, what they're going to be? They're going to be Ogre Marines.
No, don't even start that.
I'm still running under the assumption of they're going to be called the not Thunder Warriors. Is still my opinion of what they are, but
it would be cool to see they're built like Thunder Warriors, but infused with the Primarchs genes. Because don't forget, the Mars actually has all of the, most of the Primarchs gene seed.
It's actually locked away on Terra.
Oh yeah, it's in the Vaults of Terra. My bad. Which even means that they have the ones that fell to Chaos.
Yes, they do. Because it was common. It's common knowledge that the Traitor Gene Seed was destroyed to the last, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was kept under a time-locked seal.
How long was the lock?
That's the point. We don't know. All we know is that it's time-locked.
Well, yeah, Indeed. It could just be Belisarius Call was all like, "Hey, do you want to open that vault thingy now?" "Yeah, let's do that."
It's been 10,000 years. It gives you such a crick in the neck.
I'm still curious as to what Gilliman's going to do about the Ecclesiarchy, because he hates the Ecclesiarchy. He hates the Sisters of Battle. But
the thing is, he did go on record in Gathering Storm 3, kind of unwillingly saying, praise be to the God Emperor or something. It's something of that order. I don't know what he said. He said something very God Emperor.
Have faith in the Emperor.
That's the one. He said that, and I think he's basically...
It's because the Ecclesiarchy is too useful to get rid of at this point in time.
I was going to go with too big.
Well, they're legit just too useful. Like, nuns with guns they outnumber Marines 3-1.
It's less militaristically useful. It's more keeping the populace
under control.
In a way, yes.
Well, yeah, but disbanding the Ecclesiarchy gets rid of the sister. Well, no, it doesn't get rid of the Sisterhood, because the Sisterhood is under the Order Hereticus.
No, the Sisterhood is the militant arm of the Ecclesiarchy, and they just happen to answer the call of the Order Hereticus a lot.
Yeah, but I mean,
plus, if the Ecclesiarchy if the Ecclesiarchal is disbanded, you also run the risk of having another Imperial Civil War, where you have the believers and the non-believers fighting each other.
Yeah.
You get the Gilliman heresy, essentially.
Oh, that's something I want to talk to you about this week. This week?
Okay.
Next week.
Next week, whenever.
Whenever. But yes, I think it's going to be interesting. I think I said this when that trailer came out. Is basically they weren't giving anything to anyone who wasn't the Imperium, and this could have formed a rant easily, and it didn't. Is they have to be careful going into the new edition that everyone gets a look in. In both a lore sense and a gaming sense, everybody needs a look in. So they need to give Chaos a new standpoint of why is Chaos where it is, what's it doing, what's everybody doing. We need to know what the situation is with the Tomb Worlds, what the situation is with the Eldari. We're getting a little bit of information as to what the situation is with the town now, which gives me hope that we're going to get more. What are the Tyranids doing? How are they dealing with Gork's Grin? What's everybody doing? And I think that's something that they've got to address, because otherwise you just end up in an Age of Sigmar position where some factions just feel useless because you don't really know what they're going on about.
Also, one of my favorite things is in the trailer that revealed the the Crusade. Gilliman did not say destroy the Xenos.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You're right.
His friends.
I'm sure that's just a case of it sounded cooler in the writing.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure.
My bad.
Like I'm sure it's not what everyone's thinking that it is. He loves Xenos now. It's a case of
no, he just loves the one Xenos.
This is what the script was. He's like, no, this sounds cool. I'm pretty sure heretics can also be pulled in to Xenos.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, the entire point of the Great Crusade, like even going back to the Great Crusade, that wasn't there to smash. Well, it was there to smash everything that got in its way, but its main point was it's to bring humanity together under one united banner. And the Indomitus Crusade is basically the same thing. It's not reunifying, but reconquering the Imperium and taking out the influence of Chaos, the same as the Great Crusade.
You guys
the Great Crusade,
are not going to get this, but he's just handing out Pepsi to everybody. Somebody in the comments is going to giggle about that.
I'm groaning. Oh, do you not remember the adverts from like a month ago?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I think the Great Crusade, if it ran across Xenos, if the Xenos weren't hostile, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if they ran across a non-hostile Xenos force, were they willing to live and let live?
If they can be used for the Imperium, no.
Like I'm asking Remleiz mainly because he's like the general expert on most of this stuff. But I feel like if there is a Xenos Empire that is like they were going to absorb the Leyran, like only because Fulgrim was being a bit of a brat did they go and fight the Leyran in the first place. They thought they were too powerful.
It wasn't the Leyran because the Leyrans.
Yeah, it was the.
Well, are you sure you're not thinking of the Interrex?
Yes, that's.
No, I'm thinking of the Leyran because the Leyran
the snake monsters that were now worshipping Slaanesh.
Yeah, because I've just literally done it for the Emperor's Children. When I read through they were thinking of integrating the Leyran as a protectorate. Apparently.
I mean,
and
if
Fulgrim
they
was
take
like,
in Beastmen, I don't see why not.
Yeah, but Beastmen are descended from humans. Snake people weren't.
They just thought but basically the idea I think was the Leia are too powerful. We don't think we can smash them, so we're gonna try and like live and let live with them. And Fulgrim was like, no, they claim they're perfect. Only humanity is perfect. I'm going to smash them. And only because his apothecaries were so damn good was the Third Legion not pretty much decimated. So I can understand why he might want to avoid the Xenos, not because he doesn't abhor the Xenos and want them smashed, but because at some point, live and let live. We'll deal with the Xenos later.
I don't think it's more a case of that. I think the reason that the Imperium had its way with Xenos as it did is because the Emperor was not naive. Because, like, if you take the Towers as Imperium 2.0 doing their own Great Crusade with humanity in the place of the old Eldar Empire.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
The Tau, in comparison to humanity, are very naive. They're reaching out with, we want friendship and love with everyone, and if you don't join us, then we'll shoot you.
Well, the reason, part of the reason... Go on, finish.
But the Imperium, in comparison, was like, right, let's get all our human colonies back. Once we're at strength, we maybe start doing relationship with the Xenos, but until then, they're too much of a threat to our culture, and we don't want any dangerous elements slipping into our society, so get rid of them, and then once we're set up fully again, then we'll sort it out.
Well, with the Tau, their naivete, whatever it is partly because of their lack of knowledge of chaos. They're not naive. Like, they got thrown into a war with orks. They know what Xenos are capable of. And yes, they will try peace first because, well, that's just how they think. But the reason that humanity perhaps was so scared of what's out there was because it knew chaos was out there.
Humanity itself really didn't know chaos in the sense as it does now.
But
I mean, the only person who really did was the Emperor.
But at least no one, when the Tau was starting out, whoever the first Ethereal Supreme was, they, as far as we're aware, had never heard of chaos. Even as far forward as M41 and Farsight, they didn't know what demons were. Nobody knew what demons were. So...
No. But the Emperor did. That's my point.
Yeah,
the Emperor had, and not to mention that there's also been human civilizations that did worship chaos. I mean, the entire religion of cultures was based around chaos worship before Lorgar arrived.
Yep, Colchis and others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with the whole naivety argument, but part of that naivety is due to not knowing what chaos is. I get where you're coming from, though. I do see your point. If you take the Tau as Imperium 2.0, then maybe it's just a different way of doing things. Maybe both ways work. Maybe one way is to secure yourself and then smash everybody else, but you'll have to smash or deal with everybody else, but you have to smash what's in your way first. Whereas if you just federate as you go, and if someone will not tolerate, then put them down. Both have merits, because, I mean, long argument for another day, I think.
Don't forget as well, the Imperium does actually have at least one Xenos race with, as one of its member species. They have the Jakaro.
This is true.
Yeah, which seems to be the only one because, quite frankly, they're so good with technology that they kind of get, like a free pass, and they're also a non-violent species. Like, you're good with technology, you're non-violent, you look like monkeys, you're cuddly enough, fuck it, we'll let you in. As long as you make us weapons.
Yeah, whereas with the Tau, it's you are potentially useful, and even if you're a particularly useless race, they can still find a job. It is a fun argument to try and compare the two methods, and the Tau method is slow, primarily because they don't have warp travel, but humanity as well had something out there. Humanity had its colonies; they were just lost. The Tau are starting from literally nothing. If you if you actually want to compare directly, you're not comparing the Tau to the Imperium. You're comparing the Tau to the first expeditions off Terra in whatever, before the Dark Age of technology happened.
Yeah, the Tau are like Golden Age Imperials.
And we have no idea how they behaved.
Except way more weedy.
That's a point. And that old weapon known as the Angel, was that pre-Dark Age technology, or was that after? The one that literally was like a giant flaming angel that killed everything in its path.
No idea, never heard of it.
I'm pretty sure that's just Sky Attack from Pokemon.
No, literally some Inquisitors accidentally discovered it, and then it started wrecking shit up.
It's the first I've heard of it, I'm afraid.
Hang on, I'm going to try to look it up.
Also, Zoran's here.
He is here. Hello, Zoran.
Hi. I don't know shit about lore. Only question I would have, because I was going to bring it up, you guys were very enthralled in it. I want to let Remleiz talk. Is that I think the last time I was explaining what the hell is happening with the Emperor, or with the Rebute Gilliman, where he went to the throne room to get advice from his dad or whatever, and you pretty much locked in for months or so. I don't remember. He stayed there for a while, then he came out, and it seemed like the crusade that he's wanting to do is very much reminiscent of what the Emperor did in the past. And it seems it's either a case of, hey, yeah, about the fuck's going on in the Imperium? Oh, everything with the ship. Well, God, look. You know what I did before? It seems that we need to smack some people's heads in. Go around the galaxy, wrangle stuff up, reformat everything. Let's do a reboot on this, son. Just get out there and start making this happen again. Or he just saw a dead corpse and sat down going, well, Dad's dead. Like, dead. So... you know what? I'm going to see if his idea worked. I want to do exactly what my dad did. I'm going to just go around the entire galaxy, crusading everywhere, and rebuild all this stuff, and then hope that works. That's the only speculation that I have of what happened during that throne room as to why this crusade's happening. But regardless, I'm glad. Like, it was funny when Magnus got revealed and completely destroyed my faction. That I basically was sitting here going, well, I think I need to sell all my Space Wolves now, and
nope, they're not.
It seemed very much that Chaos was being like very much loved on at that point, you know, like with Cadia and then like with Magnus and, you know, giving them, you know, a large chunk of the galaxy now. I was sitting here like, are we going to get anything? And then we get Rebuta, and I'm like,
oh,
huh.
My only response to that is try being a Xenos player who's not Eldar. When was the last time you got anything?
I understand you fully. Like, that's why I'm really not like overly enraged. I'm still sitting here like, well, I don't have a planet anymore, but
you still got a fleet. I mean, the Space Wolves. What strength? Like the Wolves seem to like just miraculously be back at strength at some point. It just seems to magically pop up.
That would be Remleiz question. Like, I'm pretty sure they had other planets to where they were housed on.
Well, they probably had some forces like off on other planets doing their own missions and stuff, but because the wolves actually because the wolves weren't Codex compliant.
No,
like the wolves on how they were brought up was a simple fact of, hey, you're on Fenris. You're just a random village guy who praised Russ, didn't know shit about the Emperor. And you were going to be chosen after battle. Basically, you raided each other's camps or whatever for whatever glory. Or you
that was Ragnar's story.
Yeah, and that's all that I've pretty much learned of the wolves, and that's how you got brought up. And they don't really get taught about the Emperor until it's imprinted in their brain or taught to them as the Allfather. Like that's the Emperor to them, is the Allfather that's Allfather, and then here's Russ, who was obviously the son of him, and he's pretty much the guy of legends, you know, the king of Fenris, who will once again come back. Yeah. And that's pretty much it on how they refer to all of that. And one thing I loved about that, it was such a fantasy story in a science fantasy setting of here's all these fjords and grass fields and ice caverns with earthquakes, all this stuff. It's a whole different world, which is great for Warhammer because you have multiple different worlds and stories. And then, boop, it's dead.
And it's gone.
And it's like, well, fucking sorcerer.
There are no wolves from Fenris, not anymore.
No, they all got neutered.
Also, in regards to the thing I brought up earlier about the angel, it was actually a weapon the Emperor himself created during the pacification of Terra.
The Unification Wars? Oh, heck.
Yeah, it's twice as tall as a man with mighty wings on its back and carried a massive flaming sword.
So
I wonder if before Sanguinius was even born.
And actually, one of the first things it did was actually kill a demon prince.
Well, then.
Actually, not banish it, actually kill it.
Oh God, that opens another kettle of fish.
And then it got smuggled out of the Sol system before the Emperor could get rid of it because the Emperor realized, oh shit, I made something that was a bit too powerful. So obviously it got smuggled out of the Sol system. Then some Inquisitors found it, opened up this casket, and then went on a fucking rampage.
Interestingly, I actually learned this. I've been looking into power armor. The Aquila wasn't the original symbol of the Imperium.
It was lightning bolt.
Yeah. I just always assume. I know the Aquila didn't end up on people's armor until officially Mark 7, unless you were the Emperor's children. But when it was the Thunder Warriors, that's why they were called the Thunder Warriors, because Mark 1 armor was Thunder armor, and the Thunderbolt was the symbol of the Imperium.
Yep.
Ish.
Neat.
We fly.
Need a mosquito, mighty burrito.
Indeed. Right, I've got a lot of questions here if we want to do them.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. This
Wink,
could,
wink.
I think
Do they involve the smell of bacon?
there's 120... There's potentially like 120...
We
There's
got
potentially
Zoran and me in a stream together. Somebody's gonna ship it.
Oh, right, okay. But yeah, there's potentially like 120 of them here.
Well, let's get to it.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, there's a lot from like one person, so I might skip a few that are a bit weird. If the Tyranids consume Korax, would they be suffering from depression, and would they thus be known as the angsty nids? That is the top voted comment.
Someone has too much time with their hands, and I'm still proud of them.
I'm just going to answer this seriously. I don't think that the Tyranids can actually absorb personality traits from their victims. They're just the genetic traits.
Correct.
Well, we don't know that until officially stated, so I say it remains open.
Well, yeah, hang on. No, because what Space Marine DNA did the Tyranids get? They got the Lamenters. Are they miserable all the time? No. Next question.
Well, the Lamenters are Blood Angel's successors, so...
Yeah, but the Lamenters are always miserable because they have the worst luck in the galaxy. Though literally everything bad happens to them.
Well, that's why you don't join the Bad Ab War, you idiot.
All that the Imperial Fist had done to them was get wiped out to literally one person during the War of the Beast, and it's like, oh, we need to take everyone from the other succession to rebuild the Imperial Fists.
They were wiped out. They lost thousands of Marines.
They lost all but one guy.
Yeah.
And that was one chapters when they only had 1,000 guys, so
No.
they only lost 999 guys.
Even in modern times, they still get like wiped down to like few companies.
The Imperial Fist losses are generally pretty damn bad. But
Rogel Dawn's on terror, so it's fine. He's hiding in the throne room.
Well, I mean, when your armor is stupid and fucking yellow.
gold, technically.
They're yellow.
It's gold and yellow. There we go. Problem solved.
Right.
Yellow.
Moving on.
Gold
Okay, this is... any of you read the book Death or Glory? I need to ask this first.
It's on my list. I've got it, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay, well, spoiler warning. Cyphers Kane and the Liberators of Perlia were apparently able to use ork trucks, buggies, and weapons in the book. Was this a lore mistake, or was everything they used looted and thus not ork built?
More than likely looted. Orcs tend to reuse a lot of things. They barely build anything from scratch unless they're on a very primitive world. So more than likely a truck was actually just on the planet and they stole it and orcified it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is most likely. Okay. If you fed the souls of gnolls or pariahs to the Golden Throne, what
They
happened?
don't have souls.
Yeah,
I
actually,
think
you're
they would
right.
just be sitting in there like, what's going on?
Pariahs and gnolls don't have souls. The reason they're called gnolls is because they lack a soul. They're
Yeah.
blanks.
Indeed.
They have no soul.
Just like the Exorcist and the Tau.
The Tau have souls, they're just
No,
very, very...
that's the joke. That's the joke.
Oh, the joke about the psychic pariah spaceman chapter, even though they're not fucking pariahs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's asking something about fan fiction, where to find the fan fiction.
Which fan fiction? The one between me and Zoran?
It has the stupid/funny ones.
Yeah,
no
that one.
idea.
Okay,
So
Zoran, that's
assumedly
between
that
me and you.
I don't know why you keep bringing this up.
Because I want to see a new version of it with my demon.
We're done here.
I don't
What?
get
Yeah,
why.
we're done here.
Actually, no. While we've got both of you here, can we do a very quick impromptu
No,
fan fiction of Leland Russ and Miriam Matthew?
no. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
No.
Thank you, Zoran. Moving on.
I would totally do it.
Right.
Next.
That's taking the piss out of CS:GO. Do the Tau have battlefield medics? Are they firecast, earthcast, or drones? I don't actually know the answer to this question.
From artwork that I've seen, I can try to find this again. I think they have basically little drones that go around and just use like a fucking little healing thingamajig to heal people.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
I would imagine at least some Firecast warriors would have some mythical training.
They also do have stimulants of some sort that can stop the bleeding.
Yeah, well, those are often hardwired into battle suits. They have stimulant injectors that basically give feel no pain in the game. The thing is with the Firecast, it's very regimented in the Firecast. It's all very linear. You do 5 years on the line, and then you take the first trial by fire, and you become a Shasui, and you get a battle suit. So I don't think they really have like much deviation from that for specialized roles. You don't get, unless you're going to like the Pathfinder Corps, much in the terms of special weapon training. So I don't know if they would have them in the Firecast.
No, but I would assume at least be trained like, if you get shot, this is how you bandage your wound.
Yes, basic medical training for the like self-medicating. Yes, in terms of being like an actual battlefield surgeon like the Guard have, I don't think they do. None in the Firecast
or the apothecaries.
Yes, or other equivalents. Yes. Okay. We've done a long discussion of the things we like and don't like about 8th edition already, so I don't need to talk about that here. Alexis, if Lorgar's a little bitch, who's the bigger one?
Magnus. Magnus is the biggest bitch in the entire galaxy. Fuck Magnus.
Okay.
Usually when I make notes for me and Alpha and Thunder, I'll always like add somewhere like fuck Magnus. And I usually as an Easter egg for them to find, and every so often I'll hear Thunder just crack the fuck up. I'm like, yay, he found it.
Oh dear. Yes, we have seen the new rules for Sly Marbo, but it's for 7th edition, so it's kind of not worth talking about at this point. What happens if you biotransferred a Fenrisian wolf? So you basically took Fenrisian wolves and submitted them to the same biotransference process the Necrons had.
I assume you get a Necron that goes woof.
Necro furries.
Furcrons. Furcrons.
Okay. Right. Questions for each specific person. Alexis, why is no one talking about the fact that GW said they're making an official army builder? Are they?
They are. A lot of people did not know about this, and
I didn't.
They mentioned it in the live
About
stream.
damn time.
And I think it's a really, really, really terrific idea, but I think a lot of people are holding their breath until they can actually see it. Because it might be one of those things where it's either filled with ads, or it's like, oh, well, you have to buy the expansions to get the other characters.
Well, again, going back to the AOS app, there is an actual, like, a quick army builder in there. You can add the units that are in your army, not actually, like, build it and write it all out, because you don't really have upgrade costs in AOS. You don't pay for upgrades, so I don't know if it'd be the same, but you can like have a My Battle tab, which is these are the war scrolls I'm using, this is the battalion I'm using, this is the expansion pack or the battle tome I'm using.
I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when they first announced it.
I must have slipped under the radar, I'm afraid.
I'm pretty happy about that though.
Yeah, same.
Right.
Because using Battlescribe and everything is utterly useful. It's a fantastic program along with some of the other ones that are out there. But gosh, is it annoying when they try to get some of those apps gouge you of like, all right, pay me $5 a month. I'm like, buddy, just let me pay like $10 and that end it. Like, no. It's like,
I use Epic Roster.
It's frustrating.
Okay, Remleiz, if Games Workshop gave you the power, what would you do to write the official lore for the Alpha Legion?
Do they mean Alpha Legion?
No, Alpha with a PH.
Okay.
Oh. I was going to say.
As in the Alpha Legion.
I would probably have it so there was like a bit of an internal schism between like half of them are actually the closet loyalists, but the other half are actually traitor, not realizing, the mission of the Cabal and stuff like that. Just so it adds a little bit more of a mystery, so you don't know, is this Alpha Legion, is he good or bad? We don't actually know until you actually get to him.
Play Alpharius off against Domagon?
Yeah. Well, even though they're both dead.
Well, if you went all the way back, play Alpharius off against Domagon.
Yes.
And then, if Chateau Viola Chauvecasse Montier were to get hammered, would we be able to call him Commander...
Commander Fuck?
I'm okay.
Bar Fight.
Commander Bar Fight, yes. Yo, that's how I would be my hero.
I actually ordered that Grimdahl anniversary model, so I think once I finished putting him together and modeling him out, I think that's what I'm going to call him, Commander Bar Fight.
Oh dear. Right.
He needs a battle suit that turns into a bar.
It just has like a keg on the back.
I want to order me some D&D mini like furniture with like a bar, like a tavern background, and use it as like a scenic base thing, and put him in battle where he just shoots tankards at people.
Oh dear.
Drink up.
Oh dear. Right. Can I still use Imperial Beastmen models or squads in my armor? Do I have to write a special background for it? You can use them as guardsmen, by all means.
Count as,
absolutely. When a demon is killed using its true name, so it's actually dead, not Be'lakor, quote-unquote, dead Alexis.
No, Be'lakor is dead.
He's not dead.
I'm not dead yet.
You want to get naked, Russell?
And incidentally, the true name doesn't do anything that kills it. You have to say its true name and stab it with a special weapon.
Well, the question follows on. If you do kill it, what happens to its warp essence? Does it go
goes
back?
poof.
Does it not like go back? Does it go back into the god? Because like when a demon quote unquote dies, its essence reforms as the demon in the warp. But if it's dead, does that warp essence just like disappear?
It's destroyed. If it's true death, it's destroyed completely.
So that means that eventually the Chaos Gods will run out of demons. By that logic,
maybe when we get to like Warhammer 120,000.
Yeah, I'm talking purely.
You have the Emperor I am a book and his holy weapon. Bob, stab, boom. Frank, stab, boom. And the gods are just like, stop it.
I'm a physicist. I work in like long-term like hypotheticals. Like the net flow of demons can eventually hit zero.
And then Malal takes over.
Oh God! Right.
He is canon. He is canon.
I know.
I have the proof.
We're not going there.
Believe your proof.
I'm not.
Read that book.
I'm just not going there. Has the Mechanicus or Imperium ever created chapters with secret origins as a way of testing the gene stock of the traitor Primarchs to see if, to quote, heresy was hereditary or something?
Probably.
Sons of Gara? I'll just fuck with you guys.
Probably. I mean, if you look at the amount of chapters who are rumoured to be descended from gene stock, like the Red Scorpions, like the Carcharodons, like the Blood Ravens, it's.
Oh, actually, that raises the point, because wasn't Dawn of War 3 going to give away the secret of the Blood Ravens?
Apparently.
Zoran, have you finished Dawn of War 3's campaign on the off chance?
Not yet. It's unfortunately the case of I haven't had time to even play.
Okay, no worries. I just wondered if it had dropped the spoiler on you, and I was going to ask, but it hasn't. Okay, no worries.
I'm Gabriel Angelos. I do not know any spoilers.
I can do backflips in Tartarus Patent Terminator armor.
Backflipping hammer attack.
I am Gabriel Angelos, and I am a pretty princess.
And nowhere near as good as Commander Boreal.
Okay. Is Slaanesh leaving the Dark Eldar alone so that it can farm their souls?
Right? Slaanesh doesn't really leave them alone. Slaanesh is always thirsting after Eldar's souls.
It just can't get them.
Yeah, it's literally the Dark Eldar don't die.
That's the entire... Well, actually, I think, if I remember correctly, the reason the Dark Eldar have to kill is because Slaanesh is draining their souls. So Slaanesh has got to them, but she can't... It can't take them directly, and as a result, they're forced to keep their souls topped up. So it's not that Slaanesh is leaving them alone at all, unless Slaanesh just takes perverse pleasure in the Dark Eldar taking perverse pleasure in stopping Slaanesh from killing them.
Which she probably does.
Which it probably does. So, actually, maybe that's not as stupid a question as we thought. Because if their souls are constantly being rejuvenated, then Slaanesh is technically getting an infinite supply. Small, but infinite. That sentence made no sense.
Until she gets beaten up by the Great Horned Rat.
Never.
Oh, God. Right, moving on. If Ahriman could reverse the rubric, could Thousand Sons become Loyalist Renegade, i.e., like, fight for the Imperium, but not fight for Chaos, but not be allowed back into the Imperium, with Ahriman as their chapter master?
Some of them probably could, but not all of them, because some of them will probably stay loyal to Magnus.
And also, Ahriman wouldn't turn back.
I have a question.
Yep.
Has any faction ever turned back?
Yes, Marek Drago of the Iron Warriors was turned back from traitor to loyalist by Cassian Dragos of the Salamanders in the Horus Heresy. It has happened. Not in the modern era, I don't know if it has, but in the Heresy era, it did happen.
There's also the rumor that the Carcharodons are actually descended from loyalist Night Lords, which were actually founded by Captain Sevatar.
Sevatar was the one to quote death to the false emperor.
Yes,
I highly doubt that.
Yes, but there was also in one of the books, there was quoted him like showing signs of regret of the actions in the heresy.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I'll see if I can find it. Actually,
I'll check my lore on Sevatar as well while we're.
I assume in 40,000 though there has not been any conversions.
Not well. It's more the fact that the Imperium wouldn't have them back. So even if they did go back, the Imperium wouldn't know any different.
Because it's hard for me to imagine. Because you'll look at some of these guys and it's like just absolutely just disfigured, too far gone, and I don't know what process would have to take to bring them back. I mean, obviously the solution would be to kill them.
Returning their Primarch sword to the Emperor.
Right. In regards to Sevatar, the story of the Long Night states that Captain Sevatar declares he will become a force of judgment and ponders the darkness between the stars and beyond the Imperium, where he says the true enemies of mankind are.
Yeah, and it also says he absolutely hates demons, and he hated the word bearers because they used demons so liberally. So he's not exactly Chaos's hugest fan. Okay.
In fact, most of the Night Lords weren't actually followers of Chaos. They were just there because they like to wreck shit up. They were there for the material profit. The Night Lords are basically descended into becoming pirates.
Yar, matey.
Or whatever.
It's pretty much just them and the Alpha Legion who aren't really true Chaos overall in the sense of the word, because both forces rarely use demons and stuff in comparison to the other Chaos Legions.
The Fallen
and
have never used demons. Just saying, they're loyal.
Checkmate.
Let's wait for the hunt.
Illuminati confirmed.
If the hunt's a thing, then we'll see what happens.
Luther returns.
Right.
He is the true loyalist.
Going on.
Lionel Johnson comes back as a demon Primarch.
I'd be okay with that, but I really like the idea that it was a
Demon Prince of Malal.
No, I really like the idea that it was a giant misunderstanding, and that they're both loyal. It was just a lover's quarrel.
Okay, I'm gonna have
Harrison Fulgrim.
No. Lionel Johnson and Luther.
Oh boy. For the sake of time, I'm gonna probably start skipping through a few of these. If I don't answer them, I apologize. We've just got a little bit of a clock to watch.
See, he said it again. A cock.
You really need to clean your ears out.
Never.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you, Michael. Don't worry. At least I'm not messing with you as bad as last episode.
Well, last episode, you weren't messing. You just weren't listening.
Well, we never listen to each other.
I try, but anyway.
This is how fanfiction starts. Move on.
Indeed. Is it possible the Tau are limiting breeding to prevent the evolution of psychic Tau to prevent the dangers of demons and gods? Or is this just a theory?
A game theory.
Fuck off. This is actually really interesting because obviously psychic humans popping up was a complete genetic fluke. As far as we know, it was a genetic fluke. So it's not impossible if you consider the Ethereals are so controlling.
They also don't like psychic Kroot, so.
Well, it's not that. No, they don't like. They have no problem with the Kroot being psychic. They just don't really know about it because
that's the point. Actually, having the Tau caste essentially evolved into becoming separate species, so they wouldn't be able to interbreed anyway, even if they wanted to.
Intercaste breeding is forbidden. Yes. As in, can it be done? I think it can because, yes, they've got different traits, but at the same time, I don't think they've evolved to the point of being different. They're not like abhumans yet. Like the water caste are all naturally taller, but you could take that as being natural selection. The earth caste are all generally shorter and bulkier. Yeah, the fire caste are all stocky as well by comparison, even though they're a bit taller than the aircasts probably are the least likely to be able to interbreed because they've like got completely different bone structure. They can't go onto high gravity places anymore, so they have to live in space all the time. So interbreeding isn't the question. They're more like asking like, the actual breeding rate to reduce the chance of there being a genetic glitch.
Then Zinch goes, I'm going to fuck with you all, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, basically. Right.
Surprise, now you all have tentacles.
Slaanesh gets excited on that.
Okay.
We've all seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Right. So, quick one. If you were the Emperor or the Empress,
Yay.
who would be your War Master?
Lionel Johnson. Okay, I'll explain. Lionel Johnson
I was waiting.
Debatably the best tactician.
I understand. I understand why you would go with Johnson. I do. I understand that completely. I was just waiting for everybody else to say something, and nobody did.
I'd probably go for Sanguinius.
Yes, I think if I need more time to reflect, but Sanguinius would have been my choice.
Just because Comrade Curse is a bit too mentally unstable. And
because Magnus was psychic and thus completely distrusted, whereas Sanguinius at least was popular.
I do Gilliman.
Yep, I can see that.
With that, I'm in a plot armor. I can't fail.
Okay. If Ghazghkull beat his boys into thinking Yarrick is as an orky as an orc, would he be able to start his own war from a fractured piece of Ghazghkull? So basically, could Yarrick become like as powerful as an orc war boss in the eyes of the orcs and like lead an orc war?
Isn't he as powerful as an orc war boss in the eyes of the orcs, considering that the orcs are fucking terrified of him?
True, but would that be enough to make them actually, like, if he wanted to lead a war?
Maybe if you had to bonk a few on the end, so I'm in charge now. Yes, boss.
It can kind of work like that, and he just kind of rolled up, like, "All right, I'm the boss now. Oh, he's the boss."
No, he goes up, rips Ghazghkull's head off, so I'm in charge now. Got it? Yes, boss.
I'm just imagining like a knob walks up to him. If you's the boss, why are you so small? And he's just like,
and Yarrick just rips his head off.
Like, fuck you, that's why.
That's why. Okay, this is something I don't even notice as a thing. Apparently, the question goes, whatever happened after the Dark Angels used some sort of time machine to travel to the past and made a shocking discovery that they literally effed up their chapter? Did that actually happen?
Yes.
Oh,
basically, they used a time machine, and that's actually what caused the warp rift that sucked all the fallen off of Caladan.
Oh shit, son! I didn't know that.
See, yeah. I told you, it's all a giant misunderstanding. They're all.
And guess who caused it? Fucking Cypher.
Well,
during the Horus Heresy,
Cypher.
So
he was trying to stop. He was trying to. It was like him, Luther, and Typhon. And they were fucking around, trying to go back to the past, open up the water. Oh, the fallen been stuck with Caliban. Whoops. Never mind.
Guys, I really hope this doesn't bite us in the ass.
So,
he's fine.
So Typhon and Co created the original. Hang on. So Cypher and Typhon and Luther were fucking around with a machine. This is obviously pre the fall. Went forward in time in order to fuck with something that allowed the Dark Angels to go back in time and cause the warp rift. Have I got that
right? Is fun.
I smell paradoxes everywhere, but sure.
Well, no, as we know though, paradoxes don't exist in 40k and time travel. But why do you think Grizzas was able to kill himself and not die?
Good point.
There's also the war boss who's killed himself.
That's what I just said.
That's what he just said.
I thought, sorry.
He named him. Okay, next one. Do the Imperial Guard need more dedicated close combat units and/or more named characters?
In 30K,
they need more flashlights.
In 30K, they have firefighters with axes that are actually like ridiculously powerful.
Huh. Fair enough.
They need. I don't know if you guys watched that series on Netflix, Luke Cage.
No, I've heard about it.
Yeah, you know at the end of it, when he's fighting Diamondback. Spoilers if you haven't seen it already. and he's got like that suit with those super powerful knuckle dusters that can send them flying. The guard need things like that. Just punching people left and right. These super powerful knuckle dusters, like little mini power fists.
I'm gonna skip that one.
I would really like I don't know much about the Imperial Guard units, but I would really like one sort of similar to Assault Marines.
Well, you can equip. I think you can equip units with like chain swords. No, you can't. No, you can't. No,
you just get a bunch of Cat Chan jungle fighters. Job done.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, you were talking
Slime Arbo.
Are you talking like actual jump infantry?
I have a sort of lore question.
Go on.
Like the knights and all that, with like the Imperial Knights, mech suits guys. I understand that's sort of like the nobles' knight armor stuff. What I would really like to see is an Imperial Guard world or something, which is pretty much reminiscent of the Teutonic Knights, of like the Crusader helmet and all that stuff, and they would take like tower shields and swords and fight like that for melee, and they would have like I don't know if you ever it's sort of, but not as Bretonian, but I still like the whole like knights in the future.
Okay, I'll answer your question very, very simply. It's the 40k universe. Anything can happen.
I know it can happen. I just want that.
What about the Maccabian Janissaries?
Oh, the Janissaries. Yeah, I don't really know anything about them, actually.
Because they wear those weird, like helmets and masks and stuff, don't they? Like,
yes? Question mark.
The Ultramarines have something like that. They have bodyguard units that have storm shields and power axes.
Because that's one of the ideas I've always wanted to make an Imperial Guard army out of. Like, if there was a dedicated like melee unit that could take a shield and a sword, I'd have them as my front line, and then everyone in the back. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the Hellsing anime, like the OVA of it. For the viewers who know what I'm talking about, you guys will remember like the finale with all the incredibly racist looking monks and priests or whatever that go to battle. Just replace the evil bits of that and put it in like full, Crusader look, but combined with some of the Scion power armor stuff, and that's what I would like. I mean, at that point, I might as well just make a Space Marine chapter that looks like it, but I'd like it to be Imperial Guard.
I get that. That's cool.
It's like with the robes and capes and the things, and I like that style of look.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah. Is there a 40k equivalent for the lizard men?
Tyranids dog soldiers.
Thank you.
And the slan.
The slan exists. You're right. Coming back to War Masters. If Lionel Johnson had been War Master, what would have been different, do you think?
He wouldn't tell anyone anything. He'd be keeping secrets.
Will we have still had a chain of events that? Well, it depends if you believe.
Luther probably still rebel because like we're sitting here babysitting this backward planet in the middle of fucking nowhere. He's getting all the glory. Fuck this shit.
He'd probably make an announcement of, "Dear Imperial citizens, we are going to have a new crusade. A new crusade. Who told you that?" And he'd execute them.
You'd also have to wonder whether the chain of events that led to Horus's fall, like the Anatheme and everything, would have taken place because different area of the galaxy, the Dark Angels, was somewhere other than the Lunar Wolves. It's an interesting question.
Erebus comes up to him, and Erebus starts like whispering to him and everything. He just looks at him. I don't trust you. No heresy.
Roll credits.
Indeed.
I don't listen to you. You're dumb.
So
and
apparently,
your friend's a little bitch.
So apparently, this person says they heard a rumor from a YouTuber who they cannot remember that there is going to be a Primarch switching. There's going to be a Primarch on each side switching sides. No.
Sounds like something Spike Bitch would say for ad revenue clicks.
I have heard something about this, and if anything, I would like to see Guilliman switch. And I
not likely.
Remleiz about that.
Hail Hydra.
And Magnus switch. So I think it is possible.
Magnus isn't going to switch. He's literally part of Zinch at this point.
Yeah, I'd love to see Magnus switch, but it won't happen.
None of the demon Primarchs.
Michael, it's the 40k universe and anything can happen.
In terms of forging like a narrative of like a regiment or a chapter, yeah, anything can happen.
That.
As far as like the overarching plot of the universe, there are certain limits.
The only way that Magnus the Red is going to become a loyalist Primarch once again is if Tzeentch decides to become the Chaos God of the Imperium, just to fuck everyone over. It's like, I'm your goddamn right now. No, seriously. Or am I? Maybe. Am I? I don't know. Let's play a Tron's card game.
Now I know why people think you're Tzeentch.
It's because he is Tzeentch.
Who told you that?
Right. Will the Imperium ever try to reclaim the planet where they were working on the Anphelion project? Whatever that is.
Considering that, the Anphelion project was literally Jurassic Park with tyrannids.
I'm okay with this.
It didn't go well.
The no. Must visit this planet.
I think it got eaten, didn't it? If I'm not mistaken, everything got eaten on the world.
Now, given its tyranids, that's not a surprise.
Because they were using it as a weapons testing area. Like, right, so we got some specimens of new creatures here, so we can try out new ways to combat them. Oh, they've evolved into new forms we've not seen before. Fuck.
Indeed.
Where did that biotype come from?
Right. I think I know I've done it, and they've acknowledged this, but the nature v nurture debate on the Primarchs. Did the Primarchs land on the planet that fitted their nature, or did the planet they land on shape them, basically?
I would say a bit
I think
of
the planet.
Well,
yeah.
the environment's going to have undoubtedly some kind of effect, because don't forget, like, Lorgar, for example, landed on a really religious planet, and he became really religious as a result, because he was raised to be religious. You know, it's hard to imagine, like, you know, him landing on, say, Fenris, and still being, you know, a hyper-religious twit.
But you then look at the Imperial Heralds, who were the most zealous of all the legions, even before Lorgar was founded. You can say that he was religious by nature, even if it was made worse by Colchis, maybe. But he already had that within him.
Zealotry doesn't necessarily have to have ties with religion, though. Zealotry could just be in regards to the ideals of fighting the Great Crusade. Like, yeah, we're gonna re-show, you know, our granddad how good we are. Yeah.
Okay,
and then Lorgar basically say, "Hey guys, we found religion, did we? Oh, okay, we're going to go on Vespers. Ciao."
I'll
try
that again with the Night Lords then, who were known for terror tactics and doing absolutely horrifying shit, and then Kurz just made it worse.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point in regards to the Night Lords, because it also didn't help in regards to later on, because the majority of Night Lords were criminals.
Yes, don't disagree.
The ones that were recruited from Nostramo. Which is why Kurz decided, going, you know what, I fucking hate you all. You're all a bunch of bastards. I'm going to blow up the planet now. Fuck you. And fuck Dawn. I'm going to beat him up first. Because he did. He actually got into a fist fight with Rogel Dawn. Dawn was like, don't punish them. Why? They're prisoners of war. We need to be nice to them. Fuck that. So, no, Kurz. Ow. You made me bleed. True story. And then Kurz got in prison and he blew up the prison. And then he ended up killing a whole bunch of Emperor's children, Imperial Fists. Saying, I'm Night Lord, I'm Night Haunter, bitch!
Or something of that order.
I'm paraphrasing here, obviously.
Yes, you're paraphrasing.
No. This is lifted straight from Horus Heresy book number 6. The abridged version by Remleiz.
Sure.
The audio drama about King that bit as well. Good audio drama, that, actually.
Fair enough. Why do people still think they're going to kill Slaanesh? They don't. Not anymore.
It's partly because of what happened at Age of Sigmar, I would assume.
Well, they didn't kill it off in Age of Sigmar. They just
he got beaten up by a bunch of elves.
Indeed. Well, god elves at that point.
Still elves though. Fucking pussies. See, like in 40k, you know, he ate all the elf gods. Apart from Cain and Chigorak and Isha. Maybe because Nova got to her first.
And India.
Yeah, but India wasn't around yet.
This is true.
Truth.
Okay, just a couple of quick ones here. Why don't the Grey Knights expand their numbers to, let's say, 10,000?
Because the Codex Astarte says no.
They don't
Even though
they
they're not
even
Codex compliant.
Are there even 1,000 Grey Knights, though?
There's 666.
I know that's but why not 6,666? Because that still fits.
Because that messes with the Satan analogy. 666 number of the beast. God.
Also, no,
The
Primarch of the Grey Knights was actually an orc. 666 number of the beast. 666 chapter. There you go. Illuminati confirmed.
Oh dear.
See what you started.
It's moving on quickly. If every tomb world rose up at the same time and united as the Necron Empire, could they theoretically overthrow the Imperium?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Theoretically.
Maybe.
Whether they could or not is a different issue. But theoretically, yes.
Yeah, given the hubris that the Necron overlords still have, they'd never unite, but interesting question.
They lack space vessels.
No, they don't.
No, they actually do. The Imperium actually hunted down their spaceships and destroyed them one by one.
Yeah, but you don't even need that. You can just use Tesseract gates.
That's true.
Yeah, Dolmen Gates, I think is the official name.
Whichever.
Yeah, Tesseract Vault, Dolmen Gate. Yeah. Are Kurz and or Dawn dead?
Well, Kurz is, officially. Rogel Dawn is a bit more ambiguous. But we all know Rogel Dawn is hiding in the throne room with Kitten, saying, I'm keeping my paraplegic father company because I love him more than any other. Yes. Now I am going to fortify this force.
No, it's just moving on. But yeah,
No.
yeah,
I can't really do them.
that's fair.
This is going to lead to more fan fiction now. It's going to have Rogel Dawn mirror Sabathiel. I'm going to fortify your position.
God.
Do you like the size of my wall?
Can we not? Oh dear.
Sorry, I just had this stupid thought in my mind. I'm just going, yes, yes. No, yes.
I.
It's like that, yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! Right. How far? Oh God! I clicked off and now I've got to find all the. Oh no!
God damn it!
There's so many questions that we haven't got through yet. Yeah.
How dare you?
Like, there's so many. Like, I'm gonna have to be really, really picky on what.
All that. This man is not professional.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm back
That's
now.
Carl.
I'm back now. Here comes some mass skipping because what will Slaanesh do if all the Eldar and their gods die?
Go after another race.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Slaanesh would let the Eldar die.
Depends if they evolve into the Hrad or not.
Truth.
Okay. Question between mainly Alexis and me, and I suppose Zorin can ask us as well. In general, were the issues with 7th edition the problem of the rulebook or the codices? So was the rule set the problem, or were the codices the issues that 7th had? Was it mainly
definitely the rulebook?
Yeah, I'd probably say the rulebook. There's a lot of shit in there to where it's also the formatting of it, and not to mention there's just some rules in there that made me kind of go like, why should I even have this unit?
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of questions of why would I do this so I can have, because this idea that I want to have fun, where I can just do this and completely one shot your entire army sort of ideal. You know, it's not, I don't say it's terrible. I still enjoy playing the game, but it's a case of there's been a lot of situations where me and the other guy would look at each other going like, yeah, I understand that this completely sucks for you. It is in the rules. There's been times when we would just went, no, that's stupid. Let's not let that happen, or else this game would be over. Actually, there's a Curse of the Wolfen campaign to where we have to get to the other side of the board quicker. And there's some special rules with Curse of Wolfen to where you can't do this, and you can only fire ever so long. All I did was take a flyer, turn 3. I win.
Yep.
like I think it was like turn 4 technically because you can only go so far, but it was super easy. I'm sitting here like, this map's stupid. It's little stuff like that to where it could have been done better. Obviously, hopefully 8th edition addresses all that, but yeah, there's some stuff in 7th edition and the rules, especially for tanks, is my biggest gripe, to where it's like, really?
Well, the thing is with tanks, like 5th edition tanks were stupidly too tough. 6th edition,
they were easy to kill.
Parking lot dominated, from what I heard.
Yes, but I also played in tournaments at that point, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but then, the perception in 5th was that tanks were too tough. So in 6th, tanks were made flimsy as shit, and 7th didn't really address that. My biggest question what's going to happen for 8th is because of the wounds and all that, and since everything can wound, like tanks and everything are still going to be, I believe, are going to be a lot more useful. And I'm hoping that they're balanced. But the real question to me is going to be a case of if I take the equivalent of power and points in guardsman units, like just with las guns and all this stuff, and pair it up to a land raider in the same amount of points and value, who's going to win hands down? Or is it going to be fairly close all the time? Like sometimes guardsmen would win, sometimes they would win. They did the calculation. They did it, and they say it takes about 500 bolt guns to kill a Morkanaut, which is strength 4, toughness 8. So you're doing the double thing, you're wounding on 6s all the time. Now, the only difference, actually, in that calculation between the Land Raider and the Morkanaut is going to be potentially wound count and save, and you've also got to take 1 off the ballistic skill. So I get the feeling that you'd probably need, if you're trying to be fair, the Guardsmen would never kill their points in a Land Raider. Would never pay their points back on killing Land Raiders. They never would. But at the same time, the Land Raider probably would do very badly, depending on its build, at killing the Guardsman. Like, every unit's going to have a job, and it's going to probably be a case of you'll need to tech in a lot of different things, I think. There won't be many jack-of-all-trade units in 8. There'll be some, but I don't think it's going to be very much jack-of-all-trades.
Yeah, that's pretty much where like it's fine for me to have specialized using, because obviously my Devastator squad shouldn't be good at melee. They shouldn't be able to charge in and completely wreck shop. But at the same time, I could imagine me just taking every single vehicle that I have, put my Vindicators in the back, put my Land Raiders in front, and bring out Thunderwolf Cavalry and not be contested ever in the game. Yeah, that's my fear. Unless they nerf the living hell out of my Thunderwolf Cavalry, because every single time that unit kills something, me and my friends go MVP, because that thing's absurdly strong if you use it right. Because those wolves have won me every game.
And I think obviously there's going to be a meta formed in 8th edition, and some things will be stronger than others. But I think thanks to the fact they've done a lot of extensive playtesting, like they've had playtesters come in and help them. They've spoken to tournament organizers and all that sort of thing.
Actually helped playtest.
Oh, cool. But yeah, because they're doing that, I think the game, at least initially, should be in a more balanced, not a balanced state, but in a more balanced state than it was in 7th. But we shall have to see, and I still have a lot of questions to get through, so it's time to be ruthless. For Alexis, would you like to see GW redo the 40k RPGs, or see them hand it off to somebody else since Fantasy Flight lost the license?
Hand it over to somebody else.
Okay. And if so, what sort of dice mechanic would you like to see? I'm assuming you understand.
I like the same one. I think it's a good system.
Okay, fair enough. To Remleiz, you talked about how the Primarchs were embodiments of the Emperor's emotion, and upon their death likely return to the Emperor. Did you say that?
Yes.
Assuming that this is true, what does that mean for the Chaos Primarchs? Assuming they successfully killed, would they also return to the Emperor, and would that in turn corrupt the Emperor? Because, well, they're like now part of the Chaos Gods and stuff.
It depends on which one, because in regards to Magnus, we know that his soul was actually shattered.
Yes.
And that creates a whole stupid thing about, hey, Reviavada, you know the guy who's strongly hinted to be a Blood Raven? He's going to find a Blood Raven? No, he's fucking Janus. That was stupid. But if the other Primarchs, upon their ascension, had their souls shattered as well, and they're more, those aspects are still around in the ether and not absorbed by the Chaos Gods, then theoretically they could return to the Emperor. But there's always that chance of having a slight, taint of corruption in there, which may not actually turn the Emperor into a follower of a Chaos God, but might actually make him more ruthless and less human.
Okay.
Basically, it's like with that fan fiction, the shape of the nightmare to come. The Emperor, he wanted to protect people, but he realized the only way to protect humanity was to completely dominate them. And when he actually died, he became the Chaos God of Dominance. That basically just and all human souls were indentured to him, how like the Eldar are indentured to Slanesh. That's actually really good fan fiction. I like the fact that his greatest demon was called the Malcador. Nice touch.
Nice touch. Okay. This one I just want to answer very quickly because I think it's actually relevant to mention. Someone who's not got really into the tabletop yet, is it worth hanging on for 8th or getting 7th now? And
with how close 8th is rumored to be, because it's rumored to be dropping around June, July, from what I've heard.
I've heard.
Because that's how
Shadow War Armageddon.
That's probably better off, actually, because it's got a completely different rule set from 7th anyway. So
yep.
It depends on how rich you are. If you could just blow money and just not care, sure, go for 7th edition, get what armies that you really like, and once 8th edition comes out, you just get the rules and go play with your army. But if you're someone under a budget or something, I personally would recommend waiting for 8th, because that's what currently my brother and several of his friends and my friends are currently doing.
Yeah.
That it's a case of we don't know what's going to happen with our armies or what we kind of want to go with, because my brother likes chaos primarily, and he wants to play some other factions. But if his chaos turns out to be crap, he's going to go with the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. My argument at the moment, because they're not retconning anything. The only reason I would suggest buying anything 7th related is if you want the plot, basically. If you want to know where your faction's at, then you might want to buy the 7th Ed Codex, read that, and then get the 8th Ed one and see where you're at going forward. But other than that, I would advise to wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Anticipate.
Okay. How rational are most members of the Adeptus Mechanicus? I hear that chant at doorknobs like they do with Land Raiders. On the other hand, they may also be the most rational hermetic cults, so long as some C-word on Mars doesn't say the way you worship doorknobs specifically as heresy, are primarily reasonable tech hoarders. Okay.
It really depends on the writers.
Actually, yes, that is true.
Next.
Are we sorry with that?
Sorry, I didn't know if someone was going to answer something, so I shut up.
Next.
Okay. Aren't Space Wolves only able to recruit from Fenris exclusively and not any other population?
Yes. Because they tried to recruit from other worlds and they couldn't take the Canis Helix and they basically died. That's what happened with the Wolf Brothers chapter, which was supposed to be their successors. They went to another world, tried recruiting, and the chapter basically died because none of the recruits could take the gene seed. Only Fenrisian DNA was compatible.
So clone them.
So my guys are dead.
Yes. But it depends if Gilliman's fixed them. As that being said, in that trailer, when Gilliman was creating the new Warriors, it did actually show some chapters will be reborn in glory, and it had a picture of a space wolf. So
some they called them shattered or destroyed, and then said they will be reborn.
Yes.
All right, so I have about 5,000 something points of Space Wolves on eBay now. If someone wants to go buy that,
give it to me, Zoran. Just give it to me.
No, you have money?
No.
Well,
I have a mortgage to pay for.
That's some tough shit.
Oh dear. Is it possible for a Space Marine to be trained by a Custodes? It would make sense if a Space... Even in 40k? Actually, yeah, the Custodes are back on the line now, so yeah.
I imagine the ones that are trained are probably, at the moment, currently only the Imperial Fist, considering, they're stationed on Terra. And so they're probably the ones best likely to be trained by Custodes.
And you could argue that the members of the
doctrine, like the way the Custodians fight, the Space
Marines, they fight as individuals, keep
up with them.
It's not that they got different fighting styles. Like Space Marines were trained to basically fight akin to wolves, basically act as pack tactics, support each other. Whereas Custodians are trained to act individually, basically they're lions in comparison to a Space Marine being a wolf.
Yes.
That's what it's described in the Horus Heresy as being like. That's why
in Masters of Mankind, there's that one passage where the Blood Angel's laying on the ground watching a Sister of Silence and a Custodian fight, and he makes the comment that he can't keep something akin to he can't keep up with the movements of these two, and it looks as though they were designed to kill Space Marines.
Oh, was that the Blood Angel that had the gimpy arm?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it doesn't mean just because they can't keep up with a custodian in a one-to-one fight doesn't mean they can't receive training from them.
Oh yeah, they could probably learn from them, but it's
that being said,
that the sisters are faster than the Marines, and this is
that
not
being
the
said, it's
Sisters of
also
Battle, this is the Sisters of Silence.
It's also a good contingency plan to have specialized forces who are designed to kill Space Marines just in case any shit goes down. You don't really want to give away those secrets of training.
But what kills the custodians?
The Primarchs?
No.
Losing children's card games. Go, wind up kitten. Wind up kitten, no.
Alright, let's move on.
If you were given a choice, what scenarios from the Horus Heresy series would you turn into box sets?
Well, Siege of Terror, obviously.
It goes without saying.
The Siege of Terror would be nice.
But since we've had Kelth and Prospero, are there any others that you'd want to see as a boxed game?
The Mechanicum one. The Civil War on Mars.
Oh, the Schism of Mars, yeah.
Schism of Mars, that's the word.
Okay, is there like a board game of Metal Gear Solid?
No.
Random question.
Actually,
Okay,
yes.
if there is one where it's pretty much espionage and sneaking, I want an Orc Commando infiltrating Terra, and I want that to be a board game.
That'd be amazing.
Just play Shadow Wolf, you could probably do it.
Play Gorka Morka, it's much better.
What would happen if the Emperor was fed Eldar Spirit Stones, given the innate potency of Eldar souls compared to human ones?
I've actually wondered this one too. I'm not sure. We don't have any canonicity to this.
There's always it depends if they would actually be quote-unquote compatible with him. Because the Emperor, not technically being a god and all, he may not be able to ingest souls the same way that a god can. He might be only limited to the souls of his own species.
This is a point.
Maybe.
It's interesting. What do we think is going to happen to torrent weapons in 8th edition, considering, measuring range on template weapons isn't really a thing anymore, because template weapons
have
aren't
a longer range.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Quite literally, it's just going to be 24-inch range.
I'm be really sad that I like the template weapons, but there's been times in 7th edition where someone would kind of angle it in their favor.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot, I think there's a rule if you put it on top of a unit instead of, let me just put it in this little crack so we can get 5 more guys. I don't know the specifics of it, but yeah, I'm kind of glad it's gone. At the same time, I really like the ability to pretty much drop down a drop pod, spaceless come out with 2 flamers, and then I annihilate an entire squad. I like that feeling.
Yeah.
The one thing it is if you ever played in a tournament, you know how long it takes to keep all your guys moved 2 inches apart and move them across the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pain.
That's the real reason for it. The other reason is a lot of people argued about the damn template weapons. Because I've seen this in tournaments all the time, where people put the blast marker on top of guys, and then when they look down at it, they actually lift it up a little bit to get more guys under it.
Yeah, you can fudge templates.
Yeah. So with it just hitting D6 people or having D6 shots, I'm okay with that.
What I did, I usually would bring a pencil or a pen, and I would just kind of poke it down. Really, if we really got into really tight situations of, is that touching the base? Huh? Well, no, it's not near that.
Oops, sorry. I answered that in a comment. I was going to answer it here, but time. For Remleiz and Michael, you say that only the English can speak in Orc, but I raise you Warboss Squiggerdile Dundee, Australian Orcs. Well, I have a counter to you. The Australian accent is based off the Southeast English accent, which is where basically London is, and that's like the origin of that accent. So it's kind of a one off the other. So yeah, that's why.
I still like my New Yorker orks.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna fight you on this.
No.
Thank you.
You guys suck.
Right. Oh my god, there's still so many. Oh no, nearly there. What is the biggest WTF moments in 40k?
The Beast Rises series.
Fenrir's blowing the fuck up. I don't know. What else is there?
Too many to bloody count.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Next question.
There are so many WTF moments.
The fact there's flying blue babies on Necromunda. This is true. They're called Caryatids. They're flying blue babies.
And to finish, if Rogaldorn is in fact in the Imperial Palace, why hasn't he revealed himself to help Guilliman?
Because he hates his brother. He's like, no, you're a prick. Go fuck yourself. Piss off. In fact, it wasn't actually the Emperor he was talking to. He was talking to Rogaldorn. It's like, you got a lot of nerve showing up around here, Guilliman. Where the fuck have you been? I've been stuck in stasis. That's no excuse. I lost a hand. I'm still here.
Cuddling with father.
More than any other.
Oh dear. And that's it. I know I've skipped so many questions. I'm sorry, there are just too many to get through at a decent rate these days. If you do want to leave us a comment for next time as a question, then leave it in the comments below with the word question, and we will try to endeavour to answer it next time. Because we've already passed the 2-hour mark on this call. And potentially on this podcast.
It's only been an hour and 54 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's good enough time for outros.
Unless anyone has anything else to add or a rant to throw in?
No.
No.
I
there
don't.
It is.
For once, to the guy who says I'm always ranting about something, I actually don't.
You are always ranting about something.
Yeah, but thank you guys for letting me on.
Oh, it's been a pleasure as always.
We've been trying to do this for like 3 months, bear in mind. So
yeah, funny that little background thing. We recorded one before, and then somebody didn't fucking record, and so we didn't.
And somebody else's file corrupted.
I have a strange feeling that this is somehow all Remleiz's fault.
Like regardless though, it's really fun. Thank you guys for at least having time to let me on.
It was a pleasure. It's been a really informative conversation. It's good to get a viewpoint of someone who's a bit newer to particularly the gaming side of things, like seeing 8th edition without a bias of having played 7th or having played Age of Sigmar. It's interesting to get that viewpoint.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who kind of go into these discussions like, we have the top experts on this and this. And it's like, well, everyone kind of forgets about the guy who's first coming in. And it's also funny when you go into game reviews of, well, you don't know how the other 2 games were. You know, this is part of a sequel and all that. You don't know anything. And it's like, it matters a lot for the new guy perspective. Because if you go into like MMOs and stuff like that, there's all these veterans who've been here for years. But then the new guys coming in, you still have to worry about them. Those new people are what's going to keep your game alive.
Correct.
So, like,
and
it's
honestly,
much as elites and casuals are at odds of the elites. Like, I want my complexity and purity of the past games. I don't want randoms coming in here without casual plebness ruining my game. But be aware, those guys are literally keeping your studio alive.
And I think 8th edition has struck, if it does what Age of Sigmar does and improves upon it, 8th edition has hit the perfect, well, I say perfect, hit a really good balance, because Age of Sigmar is a really fast game to pick up. Like, we picked it up within 2 hours of playing it. And 40k, you can probably attest, is not easy to pick up.
I still haven't finished. There's still stuff I have no idea how it works. I still get confused on how vehicle damage is. I just don't take vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, I still think rules are like they were in 5th edition from time to time, but 8th edition, was always my hope for both AOS and 8th edition. Simple to learn, hard to master. And that suits everybody, because casuals can come in and play it very easily and just play the game and enjoy it. But if you want that nuance, you want that depth, it's there if you're willing to dig for it. And that, I think, is what 8th edition is trying to do. And I'm hoping that's what it's going to do.
Mm. Oh, also...
We all have a lot of hope.
In Japan, a third-party company was just hired by Games Workshop to make models.
What?
Oh, the Legends series.
Yep.
Sorry, the hero. So you had 10 Ultramarine models in unique poses. Like one shooting a missile, it's got a missile flying, like going wee.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's Japan only, so.
It's Japan only, so they're going to be like $400 on eBay, and I'll probably look into them.
Fair enough. So if there's nothing else to add from any of the ladies and gentlemen, I think
we're done. Anyway, guys.
Very well.
Finally concluded.
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, do your outro.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us for this episode of Adeptus Podcastus. I want to thank our special guest, Zoran. He is very special, and everybody should love him. Be sure to check him out. You do a lot of Twitch stuff. It's awesome.
Look up Zoran the Bear on Google, and all of it will be there.
Even I'm not going to mention it.
You keep pushing this angle, and I think you're wishing for things that will not happen.
Stop.
There's going to be fan art.
Stop.
As soon as I get Rule 34 images linked to me, there should be some hammering down.
And not the kind that Alexis wants.
Wow!
That was too easy. That was
Michael.
Stopping your race.
Fucking hammering that shit, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The amount of times it's just like you throw so much innuendo, and I throw one back in your face, and you lose your shit.
Of course,
you can
from you.
You can dish it out, but you cannot take it.
I will not continue with my sentence because it's very dirty and perverted. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. If you guys want to say something, go for it.
Yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a really good time, and maybe we'll have Zoran back on in future. We'll see.
Oh, no. The comments have to be flooded with it. Of, oh my God, look at him, so sexy, and all that crap.
That is now going to happen.
I doubt it, honestly. I don't think anyone really likes me in the Warhammer community, but we'll figure it out.
I love you in the Warhammer.
We'll see what happens.
Community.
Well, I love all you.
Yay!
So, yes.
Remleiz,
That has been episode 18.
Yes, we'll see you all again next time.
See you guys.
Bye.